I know it's a tough time. It's as I speak to you, of course, we're on the weekend of March 22nd. See, I put it on, yeah, that's March 22nd. So it's tough. There are a lot of people are closed in, and you don't have 40 acres to wander around on and shoot, So, I feel very, very, very fortunate. Even though I'm in the high-risk group, supposedly, I am not locked into a small apartment and afraid to go out the door and that sort of thing. And I do run around. I go to the post office every day and even buy the grocery or whatever. I'm just very careful. Use the hand sanitizer before I get back in the car, and keep my car clean inside. And I'm very, very careful, but I still get out. But it is a tough time. It's a weird time. It sort of came onto us of a sudden. The one thing, not to minimize it, but as I think I've said before, this is sort of a soft apocalypse, really. I know it may not seem like that to you with the troubles maybe you're going through, especially if you're unemployed, your job went away, because that money they're talking about, I don't think it's gotten to anybody yet, right? But a real apocalypse is when the grid shuts down, okay? So we all need to be thankful that we have electricity and water. Hopefully you do. Lighting, the internet. That's how you're watching me, right? So this Sunday, as you sit there, stand there, and you're watching this fool, me, just keep that in mind. Boy, could it be worse if we didn't have, I heard somebody say a week ago that, in the 1940s, we asked, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, however many it were, men mostly, but people, men and women both, mostly men, to head to Europe with a rifle or the Pacific to the front lines. Now we're asking people to stay home and sit on the couch and watch TV. To kind of put it in perspective, there have been some really hard times in this country. Going back to the Great Depression and just everything. You all have heard all the stories and the comparisons and everything. It doesn't make it a lot better. It doesn't make it any more comfortable for you, does it, or me? But again, I'm fortunate. I plan a little bit. I'm a little bit of a prepper. Always have been. Partly just out of common sense. 9/11, the terrorists around the world would love to shut us down and do something. They'd like to kill us all with a virus. They'd like to shut down our grid. They'll ruin all of our water. If you know anything that's gone on in the last 20 years, you know just from documents that we have found, some of these places around the Mideast or wherever, of some of the plans and how they could do some of these things, And of course, we've been working overtime, especially since 9/11, but even before that, to prevent that from happening, and have actually thwarted a lot of that sort of thing, where it was going to happen, at least in large chunks of the country. Anyway, everybody needs to have a little prepper in them, I think, and just be ready to not, at a moment's notice, to not have to leave the house or apartment, I don't know, for a week. How about a month, maybe even, maybe 3 months, 6 months. That's up to you and what you can manage, where you live. But I know it's a little bit late to be talking about that now, and I don't mean to say I told you so, because, I was caught surprised too. This thing really is just sneaked up on us, didn't it? That's the way it happens. It's the way it happens. Again, though, what if in the middle of the night, the grid just went down? You wake up, you have no power, no electricity, you have nothing, and no heat, air, air conditioning, and no way to get it. Well, if that happens, what do you think their grocery is going to be like? What do you think their corner market's going to be like? The gas tanks, for one thing, nothing's going to run. You're not going to be able to buy any gasoline. Yeah, they are at the grocery now. Markets, they can't even check you out if the power's not up, And of course, there's only going to be about 10,000 people there if that were to happen. so you're not going to get anything anyway. So anyway, not to scare you, but a grid shut down or something like that that's when it really happens fast, and you have no chance. You have no chance. We had a little bit of warning on this, not much, but and as I've always said, the worst things really that happen, and sometimes the best things, but definitely the worst things that happen in life, at least that have happened to me, have been surprises. They come all of a sudden. It's that phone call you get, about your mother in the hospital, or your father's dying or something, you just unexpected. I remember each one of those calls, where I was standing, when it happened, my brother, my mother, my father, and you all have that history too, so things just happen. And in a way, it's a little bit like that. You're sort of numbed for a while, and you can't believe it. You're in the Twilight Zone. And like with this, it's like, this is weird. You go to the market, and there's no paper products, and shelves are bare. There's not many people around. Look at the streets of New York City and everything. It's just it's a Twilight Zone in a lot of ways. So anyway, I hope you're managing okay. I kind of think with these new malaria treatments and things that they're experimenting with, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that things are going to get better in 2 or 3 weeks.